Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami.
It's kind of very another monk who ordained together. He also there in the same monastery. So I'm sure there's some mystery behind us also meeting. Some of the things we don't know. But at this moment I can only wish you get all the strength, willpower. First to open the heart, to really talk with that and to get that strength, to really make what this life and this opportunity, that am I making use of it properly, to question yourself. There's not much time as far as I see. We have to make maximum use of this situation. I mean, look, one time I got to know there was a very pious lady. Now, she was named, can you please name? Pasika. Okay. So, even how much we also live, it's a matter of time. All these things will disappear. So, I must tell, I don't know what you know about me, anything? What did you hear? You heard some monkeys come from Sri Lanka? A forest monk or what? Any other thing? Nothing, eh? Going to Himalayas? No. Okay. I mean, there's something very thing I want to really say, what made me to come. Also, when I was very, as a young monk, I was invited to States, first time, by one, he was working in the World Bank. So I told him I will come when I am an Arahant. You know the Arahant, what? Without the name, you know, I don't want these names actually. Where I thought one day when I am free from completely getting angry, greedy, or feeling any sense of, illusionary sense of self, that means no ego. When I thought when I'm like that, I would like to surely go and share this knowledge all over and give this knowledge. So I told him, no, I will come when I'm an Arahant. And so the years went by. I was 28 that time, 28, 29, and the years went on like that. And 2012, when I was 40 years old, I didn't become an Arahant, but I came to the public in Sri Lanka, coming from Himalayas. Suddenly it's like this, like people used to come and sit down at 8 o'clock in the morning and then stay until 4 o'clock. And I was wondering what, just by talking they are getting some mental peace. So I thought, what if I do a meditation? And I told the person in charge that I won't meet anyone, till that I'm having a meditation program after a few days. Saturday, that was the coming Saturday. And then there was like 80 seats kept. But I don't know from where, when that day came, just people were coming and coming and coming like ants from nowhere. It was, so this was my first program in 2012. Then still I went to the forest, went to Himalayas and had few programs. But this year has been so many, like from country to country. This is actually like a marathon, my last lap. Started from France, Paris, then there Italy, Switzerland, like this, all over. And then he was telling me, Bhante, you must be now really tired. Yeah, but I would have been tired if my mind was oscillating to the past and the future. But remaining in the present moment and sharing that energy of being in the present moment, yes, I'm not feeling that tired. And I have nothing to share with you all except how to escape from time, how to escape from stress, how to escape from any kind of negative feeling. And so I can only do it to you all if I have it with me. If I don't have, what am I going to, how am I going to do? Say, especially when I come now, if I come with a long face, I don't think anyone would like to, know what I have to say also, because there's no faith. But all of you understand English, do you? How is it? Do all of them understand? All? Like, can I raise your hand? You understand English? Or who don't understand English, but they do not know? Who understand English? Can raise your hand slightly? Okay.
Understand, right?
You do.
Understand.
Okay. Tell you honestly, I told that there was like mostly the Chinese community, they would be here. So happy. The reason was, I suddenly remembered Bruce Lee also. Bruce Lee was my one-time hero. Actually, when I was very young, I used to like Kung Fu, Karate very much. And that time also, I was so, some aggression, too much aggressive, too much energy, and it was not channeled, I guess. So in Sri Lanka, when I was a young boy, I used to train, and my hero was Bruce Lee that time. And then we went to Southern Africa. There, I was interested in this physics. I was thinking actually, there was this strong curiosity to know how the world is going on, what is going on. And so the normal studies didn't give me answers. And so, make it very short, I was interested in relativity, theory of relativity. There's an effect of time being dilated near the speed of light. Have you heard that? So if you it was proven in 1950s in Geneva when those particles, subatomic particles, it was accelerated to 1/4 of speed of light. It had longer lifespan. So anyway, this was fascinating for me when I was 14, 15. And that I related it to some of my mother's old texts regarding the other dimensions. Like in the olden scriptures, the Buddha's teaching, tells how the divine gods came to visit the Buddha. And they are like 1,000 years on earth is one day there. And such weeks, such months. So that gave me a connection, like relativity is a possibility, not a possibility, a fact, a proven fact. And the existence of these particular realms. So what I did was, through that, I was like mentally connected to that, or like when I had no doubt, that is how you connect to that particular dimension. So then, what I did was, I didn't study anything, I was only thinking about these things. So I had the old exam test papers and syllabus, and sort of predicted, when I sort of felt I was having some power connected to that, sort of approximated the exam English literature essay title, English language essay title, just approximated that in the night, I never forget. And told next year my father to get 2 essays written under these 2 headings. So my father went to my tutor, I didn't tell what I did, and my father was wondering, why, not my father, the tutor was wondering whether I have not studied everything, why I'm focusing on these few things. And when I went to the exam, these 2 headings was there. So there it was my first meditation, I would say. I felt connected to that there are higher realms other than this. So, but that didn't make me to think to become a monk. But based on this, I had another experience at the age of 18, while going for walks, just going for walks. It was like suddenly like something, I don't know how to say, it just came to my mind like, what are the causes for any phenomena to happen? For something to happen, what is the cause? Like, it was a mental picture. And thoroughly there's like something, like something, it was like a mental vision. where like it came to my mind like anything that begins in time definitely ends. Everything. And that for this understanding there's no beginning, therefore there's no end. And in the same time I had a picture of a monk. And then I said, monk, I must be that. He's the one who, they are the ones who are trying to get this experience again and again. And I should do the same. And so this was my first experience, I would say. I didn't come from an orthodox way. You can see my even presentation is is not. I would say anti-traditional, completely, because tradition. I think it disturbs the exact essence of this path. I would say spiritual life, because it's an experience. When it becomes institutionalized, when it becomes some kind of organization, then it becomes corrupted. And so sometimes people like us come and become the revolution to them. It shakes all the, I would say the hypocrisy and certain things. So anyway, age at that time I decided to become a monk, but it took me 10 years. My father was not very happy immediately. So, but something changed in my system after that. Before I used to get so angry, I was telling like Bruce Lee, I used to hit also people in Sri Lanka. But when I was in Southern Africa, I didn't hit, but I used to get angry with close people. It was not normal, it was like a fit. So I used to stop and sort of control that emotion. Otherwise I would have done something really bad. So, but after this experience, to now, I can count the times I got angry. Means like I would have scolded somebody. I know that I got somebody pressed my button, like you fool or something, 7 times, from 18 to now 46, and it was almost all the time with the taxi drivers in India. They managed to, they always try to cheat or something, and then I think, oh, what I do? So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it became 7 times. And Bhante knows, because in India sometimes not easy. So anyway, you can't do this by acting. I see this is actually by more purifying the desires. Some people think metta, meditation, is the way to remove anger. No. It is your desires. Because more you enjoy some pleasure, the energy is going out from you. You will spend some energy to enjoy something, mental energy. So when the mental energy goes, you need that energy to go inside. And when you can't go inside only, that your mind is stressed. When it's stressed only, it gets angry. I mean, no one likes to get angry, just anger comes. So I'm going to touch certain points practically, because now, I mean, you might also like to know how to have that mental peace, in all these day-to-day activities and in your life. But I will touch on some principles and how it's practically done. Okay? Because where we have known that mindfulness, have you heard? That even a moment of mindfulness, just feeling the touch on the ground and just feeling the moment, it has a stress-busting effect. Very well known how the brain works, and the mindfulness now they are trying to add into like a kind of like going to gym or something. 10 minutes, 5 minutes of mindfulness in the office and things like that. Okay? But they only know one. There are another 3, which is going to affect. I feel now I'm close to where this is Caltech also. They might steal my idea, I guess. Because there are another 3 which affects you, which when you don't do them, you get stress. Okay, I'm going to slowly show the practical part of it. But I must tell you, are we near Pasadena now? No, we are not near Pasadena, no?
15 miles.
Okay. Sorry, how far?
15 miles.
15 miles, okay. But I must today be my first discourse here. I must tell the thinking pattern. I don't know, any of you physics students? No? Science students? Okay. Okay, I must just go through this. So that time I reasoned out that if something can go faster than the speed of light, it's not practically possible because mass increases in the closest speed of light. So, but I assume as a young boy, something can go, say a mental, like a mental substance, something. If it can go faster than speed, mathematically I got to know that it goes back in time. Am I right? If mathematically, it is known that it goes back in time. Okay? Okay. So, now can you see my hand here?
Yes.
And now can you picture it?
Yes.
Can you picture how you saw?
Yes.
So you have gone faster than the speed of light. Okay? Memory. Alright? So now that way I reasoned out memory, intuition, it goes really super fast. And meditation is where you are really like, speeding up. And I assume that wisdom, now we come to an immortal state, experience of immortality. Now that is the highest pinnacle of meditation finally. So that should be the place where time stops. Okay? So wisdom is the one that takes you, the vehicle that takes you to stopping the time. So this is how I reasoned out before that experience. Okay? So after that, but that was in a theoretical form. Because there my father was a lecturer in the university, so the lecturer, professors sometimes come. Though they used to give this idea, I mean they really encouraged me. They said, well son, we are quite good, it's correct the way you reason out. So, but I noticed that if it is wrongly thought also, it can strain your brain and you can really go somewhere wrong. But for my good karma, I touched something of the ancient wisdom, of the impermanent, seeing the impermanence, realizing the impermanence, and also seeing the purpose of these monks, the dress, the why they are their last body. Because with that experience, I also, like when I saw like everything was like disappearing. Now when I saw everything that begins in time definitely ends, it was in my mind even the mountain looked like jelly. And that time I was to go to Princeton. I have applied Caltech also, but I don't think I was accepted. But Princeton, I was to go to study astrophysics. So after this experience, I was seeing the longest thing that will survive in Princeton will be those granite buildings. Okay? And I saw those granite buildings also like jelly. So my desire at all to, ever to pursue anything materialistic or anything that is in a moment of time, I didn't feel attracted to it because I was already seeing it's going to disappear. And that desirelessness was there. And after that, of course, my system started to change. And then I came to Sri Lanka and met this inspiring monk, a German monk. He was a wandering forest monk. And I was, in a way, very fortunate to meet him. And he directed me to these original sutras. And there, in the forest when I was practicing, again that same experience. Not many times, I could say I could count also that is. Because that seemed to need a lot of purity and a lot of this thing to get that sort of clarity. So now today, sometimes we have a lot of teaching, sometimes we want shortcuts. But I don't know whether those shortcuts will actually, it's okay, you must see how much it brings you to get detached and get that mental peace. Okay, follow that. So I must tell you, there are 4 things. Now one is the main, normally very well known, now slowly getting popular, be mindful of the moment and the activities you are doing. The reason is, when I was going in London, there are some of the organizers, some here of course they are very good in a way, they don't talk to me at all. Sometimes some of them are so interested, so the organizers are told don't talk to Bhante when you're going. So of course I would prefer that, but I'm not a strict kind of somebody. So some of these who are taking me, the devotees, they used to ask Bhante, is it okay if we talk with you something? So I used to say, all right. And then the main question is mostly that how to meditate while working. So this is something I was telling, always explaining won't do. So I thought I will immediately teach him something. And I told my friend, let us try now, I told, while driving. So I told him, can you just feel the steering wheel, the leather of the steering wheel, just feel it. And I can remember his chair was reclining, but he was like stiff like that. So I just told him, can you, you can relax like in an armchair. Think you are in front of a beach. Of course, look at the cars now, but feel the sea. Relax your body and feel the sea, and hold this thing, and noticing how you feel. So when I told this, he was quiet. So I knew he got this more slowly. You know why? Because when you're paying attention to the simple attention to the moment, the momentary experience, you're giving enough time for the mind to go inside. Inside your mind there's like a cool pond, a cool place where you can draw out cool water. So normally we are using the superficial part of our consciousness. That is the stress part. So when you pay simple attention to some simple thing that you're feeling immediately, maybe the touch of your feet, or maybe what you're seeing, just noticing that you're seeing like that, and paying attention to what you're experiencing, you find that mind gets time to sink in. When it sinks in, it gets that restful feeling. So I found him, he was keeping quiet, and then when we come into the end of the journey, I could notice that he told me, Bhante, I never experienced this peace. I wish you always seated next to me. But that's so now I find that, because the experience now, one person when they were picking me up, he was telling me, Bhante, I didn't feel the time passing. 4 hours of driving, I didn't feel that. Because I can understand the time you not feel bored. When you're paying attention, if you touch that equanimous state of mind, you will do the activity mechanically, but you're mostly experiencing that peacefulness. Because normally we are not masters of peace normally. We are masters of chaos actually. And we think that when our children are settled, maybe when we get a job, when we do this proper job, or some other thing, the loans are this thing, solved, that's our peace. We don't know peace is already experienced if we can, there's a focus, way of focusing in a certain direction, inward focus. So, this is one, mindfulness. And another place they tell me, like in Milan, this lady, she was very good because she was having stress, and suddenly she started to practice some of these techniques. Like when she was going to catch the train, the compartment, she noted the compartment and she reminded herself, like going for a holiday, not to rush like you're going for office, to put that mind, say on a holiday I would not rush, and then to sort of, while walking, to feel the steps touching. So these are simple practices. So this is one. There's another one called sense restraint, Indriya Samvara in the Pali language. This is another one which makes us have monkey mind. Now to have less monkey mind, this is another practice we have to master. So now actually this practice is like this. For example, can you see me?
Yes.
Now I look focused, am I? Now, do I look focused? Do I look focused now? Look at my eyes.
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Now? Do I look focused?
Yes.
Look at my eyes. Now, yes. Now? Do I look focused? Yes or no? Now, yes. Now? Do I look focused now?
Yes.
For you, every time I look focused now I look focused, right? I'm recognizing you. Alright? Now? No. Now? Look. There's a difference, right? Now, yes. Now? No focus, okay? You have to train your eyes like that. I don't see your details. Alright? A yogi, if you are going to be a meditator, you can switch on suddenly to a place where you don't see details. I see people, but I will not see their details. So like you're crossing a road, you will see the vehicles going, but you will not see who is inside the vehicle. Understand? Now this separating this practice called Indriya Samvara, these are the steps for coming to that cool point safely. Samadhi, to come to Samadhi. So this is when you say you are going in a pedestrian, you see people coming, but you will not recognize who they are. So this is something you have to, or if you want to get that, when you want to sit down for meditation, it's not that time only. It is how you are behaving all the way. That's why we don't get that nice feeling. Otherwise we should be flying out of this room. It's not happening because we are not mastering it. We are not getting that. We are not creating that tasty dish. The recipe is not properly understood and properly put at the right time. We think only the pocha is meditation. And the other part is, now that is one, okay? There's another one. Now with this there are other things. Now today in the modern day, there are many ways we drain our energy. Now today I had to open this. I first time, because my most dear Venerable, because now I will talk about it slowly, right? I can't refuse him, but I only pray that I will tell some points. I hope it will help you all. Now, in our life suddenly, we find ourselves like, we are okay coming for meditation programs like that, but suddenly we have occasions where we go out of track. Like we put ourselves into mud. Okay? We are distracted by some temptation, some things we do hidden. Like maybe the toilet, maybe in some other situation where we don't like anyone to know what we are doing. Okay? We do have like that, do we? Suddenly we are doing okay, like coming for programs like that. Suddenly we want to go to the bar, to the gambling place. Okay? So now this is all why they have very well found is the rush of dopamine in the brain. Okay? Where there's suddenly that rush of dopamine, that is where this addiction is formed to. So anyway, when you know that there is something like you're going into mud, you're putting your life into mud, now even in the computers today, because it's very much, so much knowledge, so much information coming from where there's so, I will come to that slowly, okay? So when you know you're putting yourself into mud, and they're suddenly coming for programs and like this, and religious activities, trying to meditate a little bit, and suddenly again, you're driven. That means those negative things that we are doing now, we are doing hidden. It means a certain emotions, certain feelings of greed, or anger, or lust, and delusion. So this, when you activate to that pitch, there are dimensions that are equal to that state. They open up. You get connected. Okay. There are beings in those dimensions. They enter our system. I don't know what to call in Chinese. They're like the ghost, okay? So when they enter, they give you the driving force to get those habits. So there are two things that give you make you addicted or habitual to something, which drains, sucks your energy. This is one is those beings who have opened up those dimensions, and wrong view. Sometimes we will justify, we will think it's like little relaxation, hard day, and like that we will justify, maybe it's good for cholesterol, like some wines and all that we will drink. Otherwise we can't enjoy what is sinful. So wherever this is happening, definitely those spirits are there in the system. Now when you know like this, you don't want to hurt yourself. When you really know this is going to damage you, destroy you, remove all your good potential, next time this temptation comes, you can keep away. Or you will be more cautious not to go into that. The friend who comes and takes you, or something, maybe a button that you press in the internet which takes you to that the website or whatever, you be careful. Okay, I'll explain more about it slowly. I'm coming to that. So when you do that 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you don't give food, nourishment to those negative forces. Then you are covering the holes that you have created in your character. You're patching it up. And there the brain gets time to recover from its destructive areas of function. And then you will find, I told you, when you enjoy something, a lot of energy goes. So the energy. Now when you are not feeding those negative things, they will have to leave. And slowly you find that you are getting more natural states of tranquility. Because your brain is healing. And more that is happening, you find now, like when you get angry or greedy, different hormones are created. Now anger is adrenaline normally, or fear. So now when you get calm and peaceful, something else also should be created. Now that is normally called ojas. There's no medical term for that. It's ojas, tejas. Ojas is an Ayurvedic term. It is opposite to when the mind is sort of excited. Like endorphins, I also think, like runners have, But something much more purified, because with the tranquil mind, this gets formed in the brain. So when that happens, normally it is actually like the opposite of the strongest thing that creates the negative hormones. It's mostly with the strongest emotions. Sometimes sudden fear or sudden, it triggers a certain nervous system or sudden desires. So like even certain desires of sexual nature, because that has more, the muck that is created in the system. There are spirits that eat that muck. And then when you keep away now, when you know the danger, then they get healed, and then there's a calmness coming. That calmness creates also substance. That's called ojas. That normally goes to the brain, and the areas of brain that was not working, they start to work and get deposited, and it gives you positive habits or positive drive for good things. So when this cycle is happening more and more, the other one gets slowly, you can say, replaced, the poisonous one. So more that happens, the body will start to change. So you become more handsome, you become more charming. So then you don't have to, apply, Nivea. You know Nivea? Yeah, like here. And other thing is, it's called, the Kaibale is called, the shine, the aura will be stronger, and there will be a shine in your cheeks and forehead. So I normally tell, don't lose that shine. That's the shine of your character. So when you have the negative, so I'm telling you very physically, otherwise say, you do the negative things, you might have bath, have lot of soap, but you look like a clown. Your personality is destroyed. You understand? So the other way, your personality is destroyed. Now the other way, you get strong personality. And you become more, the why you get this, that is how to, now personality building, this is a good study for that. There's no point just you have talk properly, you create ojas, tejas, you make a mark in life. Whoever has done great deeds, who has made a mark, they have been slowly preserving this energy. So this is something very interesting. Otherwise, I told you, like you have a wash, you have a bath, everything, but you have just dressed nicely, everything, but all the surrounding around you, it is that, like people feel something repulsive. Because all negative energies are hovering around your system. So now the positive side is you will become more handsome, and 10 years you will lose age. If you're 40, you look 30. The other way, if you're 30, you will look 50. Okay. So this is important. This is because many think only mindfulness. If you have these addictions, you're draining, you're making so nervous, you're like paranoid. All these scripts, all these diseases will come to your psychological diseases because of your lifestyle, wrong lifestyle and wrong values of enjoyment and so on. Someone told me one thing, in America you better tone down because they are very hedonistic, and no, I believe, what can I tone down? This journey is a commando journey. I couldn't come to that really. Why I came to mainly here, I must come to this, but I just gave you some points. I quickly go back why I came to America. I think, so 2012 I went like that, okay. 2014 and 15, I came to the door of death. I would say I was knocking at the door of death, 2013 and, 14 and 15. So I think, I don't know whether you know, I happened to go to Himalayas a lot. So Kailash mountain, Mount Kailash, no idea? Like Western Tibet, it's in Western Tibet. It is it is like it's a very special mountain. From 2009 I have been going there, but you have to pass through a lot of Chinese army camps and all that. You have to get special permission. So anyway, I was fortunate to, I happen to go every year. So we know high altitude, you get high altitude sickness. So I have seen people dying and almost recovered. Before trips I have seen this. And we all get the symptoms normally until you acclimatize. So 2014, I got it when I was going Kora, they call it, round the mountain, walking. The second day, I was like unable to go anymore. And all blue and splitting headache, and I knew I got it. So I was imagining there is a vehicle in few meters, I was just imagining all the time because I just can't go anymore. So then we came to this lake, the biggest lake is called Manasarovar, and in this lake in the night I was almost choking. So I felt I can't make it. Then we have a meditation which we prepare to face death. So this I have already, not to this much of experience, but pain experience I went through in the jungle in 2004. There I used that to overcome pain. So after that experience I had to do this practice every day. So this was the practice I was preparing when I knew maybe I won't make it. So when I was going to prepare like that, suddenly the first one thought came, I never thought like that I couldn't share enough with the people. Because many years I was hiding or keeping away from people to perfect myself. Then I thought, now can't help it, now I have to focus, now I might not survive. So like that but then I said, can't help it now, and I was focusing on the observing myself. Actually to see there's no self, there's a nice practice. In the end of the program I will do that, what I did. So how to take the scriptures and need to be observant of that. So when that time, then I prepared. But anyway I survived, okay, I cut short the story. Then the second time, 2015, it was like a no return thing. I was going to a coma. And like can't even lift the hand, slowly. This was also the same place, the same thought came. And then I was focused. So anyway, they managed to bring me to, they were going to take by helicopter, but in the morning the helicopters were gone when the doctor came. And then we started to descend using the jeep we had. And from Saga, like this, we were going down slowly. And, but I was, like it's not easy, not sudden drop, it's still the altitude is there. So they brought me to Lhasa, the capital, from there fly to Kathmandu. And then I was recovering slowly, physically, and even talking was like tired to me. Then another thing happened. When I was physically recovering in Kathmandu, like I would say, I have heard that demon, have you heard of demon? No? Yeah. Mara, yeah. Mara, yes. That I have heard how he attacks people who are striving this path and so on, but this is the first time I really experienced that. And there, what I cherish, what I like as a monk, what I hold on to, that was all shattered. And just to survive, I was trying to use all my knowledge or meditation, and then something came to my mind that don't personalize this. Now, this is just happening. Now, that word was not strong enough to convey the idea. So it came to my mind a wrong English word. Don't egolize this. Just continue. It's a phenomenon, just a happening. Just no person or something that happened. This was a big lesson for me. Just to go forward. And because mostly our difficulties, our sufferings come because we wrongly understand a self. Our ego, our sense of I makes all this trauma coming to us. And that's the point where gems are waiting for us. So if you continue, suddenly you find that great achievement is ahead of you. So normally now I notice that we are put down by these experiences, and because of our ego, we identify with that. And then we go down with it, we get destroyed by that. But when we are able to sort of see it, soon we are going to come to a great experience. So this was in 2015. Then only I decided to come, but I then told my organizers to accept all the invitations. But 2016, I still went to Himalayas again, same place, nothing happened, okay. And 2017, the organizers, it started from Australia. Then it went to the YouTube. From YouTube only the other invitations to all these places like this. So, but I must tell you, interesting thing I had in Rishikesh. Yeah, you don't know, no? Rishikesh, Himalayas? No. So, the foothills of Himalayas. I was walking 3 years ago along the river. I'm giving you some points with the story, okay? You will see something about life, the destiny. So the mechanism of life I'm trying through my own personal experiences. But I'm trying to touch them through my own personal experience. So like in the Rishikesh, there I was 3 years ago. I met one someone like a saint, I would say. They are called like rishis, I don't know whether you know. Like they're like seers. I felt he was quite holy man. Some are smoking ganja and all that, but this one, he had some intuition, I felt. And he suddenly saw me and he told me, Swamiji, they call me, Swami means like a monk in Hindu way. He told me, what was it? When you're 45 years, you will have no time to come to this area. And I can tell that he was so right. 45 age only, I was so going from Australia, then I went to Himalayas also, was so busy. So true. I'm sure this year now I'm going to finish, and I'll be in Canada the last, and January coming back, then surely this whole year, my 45th year, was, I can't imagine myself being so busy, but it's karma, I would say, from destiny that they would have seen ahead. So, anyway, so this is why I must tell you this very honestly, why I came, because I'm not an arahant yet, but still, I also thought later when like you have PhD, you have something when you have to do for PhD, but you have something from your masters. So you can share something. So this is what I'm doing for with you all. So I told you about putting into mud and this one aspect, okay? You got this idea. Because now, the other one I must explain. There's like another particular, now I had some connection with my guru, was a Buddhist monk in a different way. Another aspect was like who had this psychic powers. I had this kind of masters also. Mystical powers. So this master, I saw him one time, like he had a power, like behind you there are certain beings come behind you, invisible, okay? He had the power to make them come into your body and confess. I don't know if you have ever seen like that. No? So, you have seen that. So they enter the body and then someone else is talking, not the person. So one day one mother who had a child who was not, but you'll be surprised a monk talking like this, right? A little bit. I don't think you ever heard this type of way of it, I understand. This particular mother brought the child because he was not studying, he was all the time with the computers and going for parties and bad friends. So then suddenly this master, I would say, I saw him concentrating something and suddenly this boy was unconscious. And he took his beads and he was just doing something, and then someone else was talking like this. Then he asked, what was it? When did you enter this body? Then he said, what spirit, who are you? He said, snake spirit or something. Then, when did you come to this body? He said, when I was 13 years old. And how did you come into this body of this boy? He said, when he was playing games. I couldn't understand what it was. What is this games with this? When he was playing games, the computers, I'm sure. Then, like that, he said, but I then understood what? Normally, when we have this metta meditation, like, may these beings be happy and like these good thoughts, good intentions, it creates a good consciousness. Say now we say kill or something, where we do something negative, always thinking like that, it will create a negative consciousness. So that way it gave me rationality. But when I got to know the MRI scan, how it shows the brain function of dopamine,
release, especially when you're playing games or any other thing exciting. It is equal to this. In Oxford University, is well researched. It's equal to the heroin addict. Addiction of heroin. That same release of dopamine is in games. So now I can understand why the addiction comes. So another place of spirit, when it entered the body, it told how it came through Facebook. So I only don't know the name Facebook, okay? You might know what it is. But I must tell you honestly, I have operated YouTube. YouTube, right? That is for you all. Because to give, otherwise I don't want to touch this even, you know. And for your programs, I have been borrowing from each temple. This is not a secret. What is this? I feel embarrassed also, but I need to get points for you all, and it has been helpful for me that way. But I must tell frankly, I have because this has done more damage than, because this is an instrument. It is neutral, okay? Computer is not wrong, it's like vehicle, aeroplane. But the problem is, this is connected with the sensual world, the five senses. So that is the area of the demon, the Mara. So now it is very well used by the Mara. So I'm happy, Bante, okay, I'm happy, means you can't tell people not to use computers. Now it has come into a point where you have to tell the dangers actually, even to children. Okay? So now I know after my discourses, some of the people, they are putting apps, they said, apps, I don't know, so how many times they are used or something, they are controlling it, very good. And some who are looking bad things through pornography and things like that, they suddenly, after the blessing that I did, I remember, I didn't that time explain this guy, I did another discourse. He said, Bhante, suddenly I have stopped this. So I was very happy, because there's no point, high doctrine, everything, but you can't practice an inch of, if you die like that mental state, you're going down. You never hear a discourse for long period, because you'll not get a human birth to do that. So the problem is, this is not used by enlightened minds with still mental diseases of desires. So when this is happening, definitely addictive things. And one place they said, what was it, when that button is pressed, or that page, when they open that page, they are already in our control. That's how that spirit said. I'm sure it is pornography or something. That is, especially you are just slightly even just peeking into that, something else comes and possesses you. And then makes you to do next step. So there's so this is something I must explain. So Facebook, as I told, so you can find out anything which you find binding you and make you feel, I hope nobody's looking what I'm doing. Surely the spirits are there and you're damaging your whole system. So when I'm telling you this, then it will help you when you next time, I'm sure, to keep away 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So this is important. Before you do meditation, you have to make sure this so strong ways of losing energy is cut away, blocked, plugged. Otherwise, all other practices are useless. So because you are exciting an entire system of the reptilian brain actually. I will tell about that also. So normally in my discourses I tell 2 things if you don't control, nothing happens on this path. That is the tongue and the sexual. You can see the same with lot of red nerves and all that. No, even if you think of food, it is the reptilian brain that is working. And we have the special brain of thinking, analyzing and all that. That part is, we got specially, of course with Darwin it is like, the new brain we have. But we know it's due to good karma we got that brain. So now, it's very interesting why the Buddha, sometimes the masters, they have laid down rules of celibacy and, other things. It's like they have seen the brain function. So one was very interesting for me, like we have for monks, regarding Brahmacharya, 2 degrees. One is called grave offense, if you break that vow. And then the minor offense. Now the grave offense is very much connected with celibacy. And one of them, it was so interesting for me, like when you're experiencing that pressure, say the peak of sexual pleasure, this reptilian brain, the MRI scan shows the reptilian brain takes over the entire brain. In other words, it shuts down the other thinking and analyzing and meditative part of the brain. That means you're a full animal that time. You get it? Now that I'm not telling it is the... Then when I saw how the masters have laid down as grave offense, that means they have like seen the brain, how it's functioning. So now that time when they put those rules, it was happening only few in the society. Now it is difficult to find who is not doing that, or not always, they are addicted to that. So I found very interesting in this society in America and England also, Europe, there are groups of people knowing this, irrespective of religion, that they are keeping away and sort of risk. Now this is a challenge because it's not easy. They keep away for 1 week, 90 days of this practice. Like that, they are sort of extending that period of practicing that, like vegan, you know, vegan? Is it right? Vegan, this is a new word for me. So like that, who are interested in nature and, you know, like eating the food that is healthy. Like that, another group that is named NoFap. I don't know whether you all know, but you have to find out in YouTube. NoFap, double P or single P. NoFap, yeah. So that's very interesting that I couldn't imagine without a religion that there's a group of people formed, you know, keeping away from these damaging things. So now this is something which was known in the ancient times in culture, but today this is a materialistic culture completely, no idea about brain or mental peace. So all the damaging things we do, which are, you know, like draining because not knowing the brain, we can easily damage something. If you don't know something, you can easily, we will handle it in such a way that's going to. So the result is we feel stressed out, what is all that? How can that happen? That means we are mismanaging the entire life. So these points I told you, okay? So I told you how to drive without stress. And this is connected with the sense restraint, sense control actually. The other one is, Buddha says about food. So there is also there a lot of pressure, you know, is drained out when you enjoy food. So that also affects your meditation. More you enjoy, because that's reptilian brain again, more you experience the reptilian brain, it's a greater block for your mental peace. So it's very nice, anything you find that gives you that adrenaline or that dopamine rush, then you know that this is against this. Whichever brings that faith, mindfulness and wisdom and knowledge, you know, and then concentration or tranquility, these are all the special brain you're activating. More you do that, one, you'll look more nice, more handsome, and the other one is that you are really evolving this human brain to its maximum. You're not wasting this life. You're not just living just a normal life of just like mechanically, like a machine or something. So now, I'm going to slowly come to now the reason I told all this is, these are going to block you to enlightenment. Because now we have sometimes knowledge of the Dhamma also, a lot of knowledge about impermanence, paticca samuppada, the condition. Have you heard of these things? The conditional link and the illusion of consciousness. These are there at an intellectual level, but hardly to get it to a practice of realization, to make it realize, you have to have a degree of purity. So when you lack that purity, you find people will talk a lot, but actions are useless. You look at their body even, you know, I noticed this but the problem is when you're in the same boat, you can't notice each other. But when you're a little bit coming out of it, you can see now we can know a drunkard very much, you know. This was a big lesson for me, just to go forward. And because mostly our difficulties, our sufferings come because we wrongly understand a self. Our ego, our sense of I makes all this trauma coming to us. And that's the point where gems are waiting for us. So if you continue, suddenly you find that great achievement is ahead of you. So normally now I notice that we are put down by these experiences, and because of our ego, we identify with that, and then we go down with it. We get destroyed by it. But when we are able to sort of see it, soon we are going to come to a great experience. So this was in 2015. Then only I decided to come, but I then told my organizers to accept all the invitations. But 2016, I still went to Himalayas again, same place, nothing happened, okay. And 2017, the organizers, started from Australia. Then it went to the YouTube. From YouTube only the other invitations to all these places like this. So, but I must tell you, interesting thing I had in Rishikesh. Yeah, you don't know, no? Rishikesh, Himalayas, no? So the foothills of Himalayas. I was walking 3 years ago along the river. I'm giving you some points with the story, okay? You see, something about life, the destiny. So the mechanism of life, I'm trying through my own personal experiences, but I'm trying to touch them through my own personal experience. So like the Rishikesh, there I was 3 years ago. I met one someone like a saint, I would say. They're called like rishis. I don't know if you know. Like they're like seers I felt he was quite holy man. Some are smoking ganja and all that, but this one, he had some intuition, I felt. And he suddenly saw me and he told me, Swamiji, they call me, Swami means like a monk in Hindu way. He told me, what was it? When you're 45 years, you will have no time to come to this area. And I can tell that he was so right. 45 age only, I was so going from Australia, then I went to Himalayas also, but so busy. So true. I'm sure this year now I'm going to finish, and I'll be in Canada the last, and January coming back, then surely this whole year. My 45th year was, I can't imagine myself being so busy, but it's karma, I would say, from destiny that they would have seen ahead. So anyway, so this is why I must tell you this very honestly, why I came, because I'm not an arahant yet, but still I also thought later, when like you have PhD, you have something when you have to do for PhD, but you have something from your masters. So you can share something. So this is what I'm doing for you all. So I told you about putting into mud and this one aspect, okay? You got this idea. Because now the other one I must explain. There's like another particular, now I had some connection with my guru, was a Buddhist monk in a different way. Another aspect was like who had these psychic powers. I had this kind of masters also, mystical powers. So this master, I saw him one time, like he had a power, like behind you there are certain beings come behind you, invisible, okay? He had the power to make them come into your body and confess. I don't know whether you have ever seen like that. No? So, you have seen that. So they enter the body and then someone else is talking, not the person. So one day, one mother who had a child who was not, but you'll be surprised a monk talking like this, right? A little bit. I don't think you ever heard this type of way of it. I understand. This particular mother brought the child because he was not studying. He was, all the time with the computers and going for parties and bad friends. So then suddenly this master, I would say, I saw him concentrating something, and suddenly this boy was unconscious. And he took his beads and he was just doing something, and then someone else was talking like this. Then he asked, what was it? When did you enter this body? Then he said, no, what spirit, who are you? He said, snake spirit or something. Then when did you come to this body? He said, when I was 13 years old. And how did you come into this body of this boy? He said, when he was playing games. I couldn't understand what it was. What is this games with this? When he was playing games, the computers, I'm sure. Then like that, he said, but I then understood what. Normally, when we have this metta meditation, like may these beings be happy and like these good thoughts, good intentions, it creates a good consciousness. Say now we say kill or something, where we do something negative, always thinking like that, it will create a negative consciousness. So that way it gave me rationality. But when I got to know the MRI scan, how it shows the brain function of dopamine release, especially when you're playing games or any other thing exciting, it is equal to this. In Oxford University is well researched, is equal to the heroin addict. Addiction of heroin, that same release of dopamine is in games. So now I can understand why the addiction comes. So another place of spirit, when it entered the body, it told how it came through Facebook. So I only don't know the name Facebook, okay? You might know what it is. But I must tell you honestly, I have operated YouTube, right? That is for you all, because to give, otherwise I don't want to touch this even, And for your programs, I have been borrowing from each temple. This is not a secret. From what is this? I feel embarrassed also, but I need to get some points for you all, and it has been helpful for me that way. But I must tell frankly, I have because this has done more damage than, because this is an instrument. It is neutral. Okay, computer is not wrong. It's like vehicle, aeroplane. But the problem is, this is connected with the sensual world, the five senses. So that is the area of the demon, the Mara. So now it is very well used by the Mara. So I'm happy, Bante, okay, I'm happy, means you can't tell people not to use computers. Now it has coming to a point where you have to tell the dangers actually, even to children. Okay, so now I know, after my discourses, some of the people, they are putting apps. They said, apps, I don't know, so how many times they are used or something, like they are controlling it. Very good. And some who are looking bad things through them, like, pornography and things like that. They suddenly, after the blessing that I did, I remember, I didn't that time explain this. I did another discourse. He said, Bhante, suddenly I have stopped this. So I was very happy, because there's no point, high doctrine, everything, but you can't practice an inch of, if you die like that mental state, you're going down. You never hear a discourse for long period, because you not get a human birth to do that. So the problem is, this is not used by enlightened minds which still mental diseases of desires. So when this is happening, definitely addictive things. And one place they said, what was it, when that button is pressed, or no, that that page, when they open that page, they are already in our control. That's how that spirit said. I'm sure it is pornography or something. That is, especially, or just slightly even just peeking into that, something else comes and possesses you, and then makes you to do next step. So there's so this is something I must explain. So Facebook, as I told, so you can find out anything which you find binding you and make you feel, I hope nobody's looking what I'm doing. Surely the spirits are there and you're damaging your whole system. So I'm telling you this, then it will help you when you next time, I'm sure, to keep away 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. This is important. Before you do meditation, you have to make sure these so strong ways of losing energies cut away, blocked, plugged. Otherwise, all other practices are useless. So because you are exciting an entire system of the reptilian brain actually. I will tell about that also. So normally in my discourses, I tell 2 things if you don't control, nothing happens on this path. That is the tongue and the sexual part of now you can see the same with lot of red nerves and all that. So even if you think of food, it is the reptilian brain that is working. And you have the special brain of thinking, analyzing and all that. That part is, we got specially, of course to Darwin, it is like, the new brain we have. But we know it's due to good karma we got that brain. So now it's very interesting why the Buddha, sometimes the masters, they have laid down rules of celibacy and, other things. It's like they have seen the brain function. So one was very interesting for me, like we have for monks regarding Brahmacharya, two degrees. One is called grave offense if you break that vow, and then the minor offense. Now the grave offense is very much connected with celibacy. And one of them, it was so interesting for me, like when you're experiencing that pleasure, say the peak of sexual pleasure, the reptilian brain, the MRI scan shows the reptilian brain takes over the entire brain. In other words, it shuts down the other thinking and analyzing and meditative part of the brain. That means you're a full animal that time. You get it? That I'm not telling it is the. Then when I saw how the masters have laid down as grave offense, that means they have like seen the brain how it's functioning. So now that time when they put those rules, it was happening only few in the society. Now it is difficult to find who is not doing that, or not always. They are addicted to that. So I found interesting in this society in America and England also, Europe, there are groups of people knowing this, irrespective of religion, that they are keeping away and sort of risk. Now this is a challenge because it's not easy. They keep away for 1 week, 90 days of this practice. Like that, they are sort of extending that period of practicing that, like vegan, vegan? Is it right? Vegan, and this is a new word for me. So like that, who are interested in nature and, like eating the food that is healthy. Like that, another group that is named NoFap. I don't know whether you all know, but you have to find out in YouTube. NoFap or single P. NoFap, yeah. So that's very interesting that I couldn't imagine without a religion that there's a group of people formed, keeping away from these damaging things. So now this is something which was known in the ancient times in culture, but today this is a materialistic culture, completely no idea about brain or mental peace. So all the damaging things we do, which are like draining because not knowing the brain, we can easily damage something. If you don't know something, we will handle it in such a way that's going to. So the result is we feel stressed out. What is all that? How can that happen? That means we are mismanaging the entire life. So these points I told you, okay? So I told you how to drive without stress. And this is connected with the sense restraint, sense control actually. The other one is Buddha says about food. So there is also a lot of pressure, is drained out when you enjoy food. So that also affects your meditation. More you enjoy, because that's reptilian brain again, more you experience the reptilian brain, it's a greater block for your mental peace. So it's very nice. Anything you find that gives you that adrenaline, that dopamine rush, then you know that this is against this. Whichever brings that faith, mindfulness, and wisdom, and knowledge, and then concentration or tranquility. These are all the special brain you're activating. More you do that, one, you'll look more nice, more handsome. And the other one is that you are really evolving this human brain to its maximum. You're not wasting this life. You're not just living just a normal life of just like mechanically, like a machine or something. So now, I'm going to slowly come to the reason I told all this is, these are going to block you to enlightenment. Because now we have sometimes knowledge of the Dhamma also, a lot of knowledge about impermanence, Paticca the condition. Have you heard of these things? The conditional link and the illusion of consciousness. These are there at an intellectual level, but hardly to get it to a practice of realization, to make it realize, you have to have a degree of purity. So when you lack that purity, you find people will talk a lot, but actions are useless. You look at their body even, I noticed this but the problem is when you're in the same boat, you can't notice each other. But when you're a little bit coming out of it, you can see now we can know a drunkard very much, because we don't drink, for example, who is really intoxicated, we can notice that. So, but we are also drunk in different levels.
So sometimes who are like, say, following this path, they would notice that. And so this is the main thing I see today also in even monasteries everywhere. The conduct is very weak, but they are trying to understand the Dhamma, and it becomes intellectual, and there's so much going intellectually, and then it's not creating those wholesome beings and enlightened beings actually. So now I have told you some points: walking peacefully, eating peacefully, and driving peacefully, making sure that, and making sure what you take to your senses, you choose. You don't all look everything here and there, then you'll have a monkey mind. So you learn to sort of avoid. That is a basic practice, something. It's a basic one, not a big thing. And then when you're undisturbed, then your intuition will be sharp. You must see now. Now, for example, I used to, yesterday I was passing through the restaurant in the airport. Where was this airport? Nebraska. So my devotees, they were coming all the way past security also. One of them was flying. They wanted to, so they asked the security, and they are thinking, my life I have been now. This Himalaya was the recent experiences, but many years ago I was going through, the terrorists in Sri Lanka, LTT. Like you had like ISIS those days, Sri Lanka. So that jungle area, I have like a wandering monk. I happened to go through this particular area. It was like 1 month it took me from south of Sri Lanka to north and back again. So there also the practice was so practical. I didn't see them as terrorists that time. I saw them as, the 5 skandhas. Have you heard of 5 skandhas? That we are made up of body, feeling, perception. So this has to become practical. If it is a realizational thing, otherwise it will be only for discourses. You understand? According to Buddha, it is called, he called empty potila one time to one who knew knowledge only. There's one monk who was seeing it in his understanding. He only knew one verse. So I'm going to demonstrate one thing, how that time when they were cutting the hair, they had that insight. Why it's not happening to us? There's something wrong with our concentration, tranquility, purity. So anyway, the LTT that time, when I was cutting across there, I was going to tell you all something. It was like another world. I didn't feel it was like war there, passing the bunkers. So they're also wondering what I was going through. So that time, one of them asked me, Bhante, will we get, not Bhante, they told me, Swami, will we get peace? One of their leaders. I think it was Nadeshan at the time. And immediately I told him, peace is inside, not outside. So this experience is within us. I didn't feel it was war. This is like some kind of, so what you have, the glasses you wear inside, that's how you will be seeing the world outside. So actually the whole life, I would say now, I don't normally tell much of the experiences with that journey. So mostly, so this is one part, then another part with the elephants and bears in the jungle. So this has to, because the latest was this facing death in the Himalayas. So if this practicing the Dhamma doesn't help you in a moment of crisis, that means you are not holding it properly. You are not practically using it. So that's why I normally tell those stories, not because I remember all the time. I just want to for you all to get some, the strength, determination, and to really focus and to step by step make any mistakes you are doing, which is covering you to realize this. So some of the organizers, one of them, he told me, Bhante, normally a monk, they come, they explain a sutta, one sutta, and they would describe the sutta completely. But you don't do that, Bhante. They said, normally, I do explain how to practice in the end, a small part only. But mostly I tell about my experiences and so on. So I said, yes, that is true. I told, my mission is not to explain a sutta. My mission is to make you realize the sutta.
That is the main thing. Now, no, enough talking about it. There's no time. This may be your last chance, and to make it experience. So make sure, be humble and sort of find out where you are making mistakes. Be honest to your heart, and to open up and to be your master. Like, see, now even if you find faults of somebody, sometimes the fault may be correct, but did you ever notice why you are finding the fault? Because you're at fault. To see a fault, to find a fault is because some anger, some irritation. So when you know that you have that intention, wrong intention, you will not do anything. Because you are going to change yourself first. It happened to me now recently. Like, because sometimes now I'm getting little popular. So, in the world sometimes jealousy, all these things could come up. So in the society, so I heard some rumors, somebody told me, but there's some people were telling, but we didn't believe them. Like, that's something I don't want to tell, because then suddenly he told something, like, if it is known that for someone who is like enlightened or who has realized something, if you tell something, it's very bad karma. They call it, අනන්තරිය නෙමෙයි සමහර ඒ වගේ එකක් අර ආර්ය උපවාද. It's called ආර්ය උපවාද. So what I now so now this has happened to me in the jungle also. When I was in deep jungle, the people who organized, they had problems with people who are treasure hunters. The treasure hunters were trying to tell the minister and everything that we are doing something wrong in the jungle and remove us. So 6 months I was in Yala, in one place called Bambalapitiye. So the organizers made sure I was not disturbed. But when I left the jungle, they told me, Bante, we had these problems. So one of them, they were telling, Bante, the people who made the accusations for you and trying to their son, mentally something happened, like that, the wife something happened, like that, he was going on. I suddenly, my blood was getting like water. I said, what are you telling? I said, someone doing any harm to me, nothing can happen. Don't ever imagine such a thing. I'm not born in this world that people will suffer, even if, they may do out of ignorance something, but I am not, don't ever tell like that. I was really serious about it. So I told what I felt to this gentleman when he told that some people are telling they will get this Arya Upavadi or this punishment he was telling me. Then I tell, no. I told him also again, no, don't ever think like that. I am going to bless them in such a way that they will have known. Should be never cause for them to have anyone to have suffering. I mean, this is my vow. So, but when I was telling him that, I felt I was trying to show him that I am also very kind. I had that feeling suddenly this time when I told him this in Nebraska, in the Thai Vietnamese temple. Then I later on thought to myself, what is the intention? Now you have to always check your mind, you understand? No point if it looks nice, if the intention is, you have to check your mind always. What is the emotion behind it? If it is always, that is, you have made bad karma always, even if words are nice and this thing, better not. You have lost the game. You get the point, I hope. This is my recent practice, okay? Because now I am also so getting exposed to all these muddy areas of society or the world. And this is a good test for me also. Because suddenly I have to face, I'm sure, further coming months, years, I don't know, but still I hope I get the strength to not to impure myself. That's all I ask sometimes, how I can really keep myself pure and help the people out of these impurities. And so I was praying for myself also about it, because I didn't, this is what I want to do somehow before I leave this planet. Just be a mirror to others, like you don't need to tell someone you're wrong, this and that. You don't have those qualities in you, already it will show them. Help them. Not showing is easy for anyone, but if you can give strength to someone to come out of that, it's a great blessing. You can say you're sick. No, you should be able to give a medicine. So I think I covered something. Anything, we have to go for a question, okay? Before we go to a last, how I would just want to show you some meditation of how the conceptualizing is removed. So anything you'd like to ask from me? Because I'm talking. Anything like to maybe? Some people have this, sorry. Huh?
Well, there are people who have questions, and some people are just not sure if they can ask the question.
Okay.
So I said, because, whoever has a question, they should ask, disregard what kind of question that is.
Yes.
Right? Obviously, there's a little bit cultural difference, and in respect of Venerable, that I'd like to ask if there's, any question that shouldn't be asked.
No. For me, no, shouldn't be asked questions. All questions for me is no problem for me. I will tell whether it could be answered from my point of view, whether it is like it's possible to be answered. Like sometimes they ask the question whether all beings get liberated and so on. So this, I know this is not a question to be asked, because you are not, when you see who the being is, this question doesn't come. Like that I might be able to explain, but it might be even something, maybe you have a terrible husband or wife. I have answers for that also. I love, do you know about the story how now, like I also say, like getting married is like becoming a monk. You stick to one person, how boring that person is. You understand? But that is for your protection. We don't know because we know how to live a lot of now this Caltech, all this university, this type of education has taught us how to live, but we have zero knowledge of life. That's why in 8 years we have another marriage. You think it might work again? Right? You can hear so many. Now 70 or 60, they would consider I'm still young, when I'm old. I have heard in Australia, right? Australia, I learned very many things from my devotees. They used to tell me when they are working with aged homes and things like that. So I will tell you, there's one book written, I think maybe it's out now. They call How to Find a Perfect Husband and How to Find a Perfect Wife. Have you got that book? No? You better get it before it's too late. You have never heard that? I think it's out maybe now, very recently. It's getting very popular, bestseller, I think. So one gentleman has gone somewhere in, I don't know, New Jersey to get this book, and he couldn't find in this thing. So he asked the manager, where's this book, How to Find a Perfect Wife? Then the manager has said, fiction section. Yeah, it's a fiction, isn't it? When you know these ideas, then you can be at peace with whatever you're going through. Because now we do all this, now I tell about addictions and all that. If you can't harmonize with your karmic situation, that's also draining your energy. You understand? You want to change quickly because you don't run away. This life comes as a classroom. You get parents, you get places of work, you get spouses and, like partners. This is like a lesson that you're getting in life. So what happens normally, we run away from the lesson. So when you run away from the lesson gets postponed. Okay? So you must go away only when you are making a definite bad karma. Like if you have to lie. No, you must not tell small lie that suddenly, this is a good excuse for me to leave that situation. No, you should be wise. You should use the situation. You must not run away because this is a situation that comes to change your inner weaknesses. They are coming to you as an opportunity because it's created by you. Your defilements creating that drama in the past. So now they are giving chance for you to sort of dismantle that or sort of seize those defilements. So if you don't get the opportunity, where are you going to get the chance to see your thoughts and change your attitude and change your visions? And when you change your vision from the spiritual techniques of seeing there's no self, no ego, no person, when you don't worry from there, you've learned a lesson from that. Your soul is evolving. That's the purpose. There's a ways, but of course, if you have to see, you have to use these opportunities to see that it was a sound. It was, now I know some. I will explain now how the conceptualizing takes place and how you remove the identity, the self-realization. That is our main thing, main weapon. To know there is no self, a person, so that you don't worry about somebody always. And then only all this. So when we do those things, if we really do those things, we don't feel the suffering. When we come to a point of not feeling that, we don't react. No reaction means it's finished. The lesson is finished there. So the final thing to see is like an illusion, like a dream. When you're really aware this is like a dream, you're not reacting to that dream. When you don't react, you're going to permanently wake up. That's where the enlightenment process is. You understand? So, so you don't run away. If you have, I think, if you're married and all, that's a good way. And I think that is also good if you meditate and all that, remove all perversions, certain this thing. And so it has to be done in a way that is honest with the surrounding. Like you have to, if you're really doing it properly, it will not hurt anyone. They will also appreciate and they will admire and they will feel so much, That's why I say something now, if you do these practices, you might become monk or nun or somebody. No. If you do this properly, if you are a husband, you will become a super husband. If you're a wife, you'll become a super wife. If you are a father, you'll become a super father. Because you will open up that special part of your brain, the cool part. And you will have the work there. But you will be, because that part is not open. Some things, we have a lot of work, we have this, that. That's why we can't meditate or we can't get that tranquility. It's not that. It's that part is not open. It's just there. And only the small part of the brain is working. So now when this is open, to open that only, first we have to check that other part, damaging part. That's what I told all this way. That addictions and sense restraint and mindfulness. And these are all the such daily you can try. And when you're doing those things slowly, you get those others like a rocket that is going and opening those parts of the brain. And when that is more open, other activities you will do without all those ego and negative emotions, how beautiful you will become. What was your answer? You still didn't ask a question, right? It was me speaking. Any question you would like to ask? You can ask any question, no problem. So I just told, even regarding, maybe I'll have my point of view, it might help you all if you'd like to ask.
Most of the questions this morning, they were actually answered in your introduction. Yeah, and
in the morning you had like a question thing.
Yes, actually I sent an email or WeChat out to everyone, and I asked them if they have questions that they didn't want to ask directly.
That's right.
They
Okay.
sent to me.
Do you have them? Well, just tell me. I like to know what they were really.
Yeah, first question, if I remember correctly, is let me see. Oh, there are many ways, to practice. Why did you choose to, go into the forest? That was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's the second one? Anybody knows the second one? What did you eat in the forest?
Okay. Okay.
And we imagined that in the forest there was nothing to eat, right?
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's the main question.
You look pretty good.
Well fed. I look well fed, right?
So what's the third one? And the third one actually I explained because they said that you actually walk from somewhere, nearby over here. Okay, so I guess that's the way of,
Yeah, because we are wandering monks, we were mostly with the road, walking. We never, can't say never, I didn't use vehicles, that's my teacher also. So now it's like I am one by one dropping off vehicles, aeroplanes like this. So I want to keep some part of my practice. You understand?
Yeah.
So this I know. So this is one way I found that, because this is not my way. It's just coming from, because I always think we are not glass box monks. You understand? We are not a monk trained in a glass box. We are exposed to the elements and nature, and people, rough people, and so these were our training. This is my teacher, how he told us to. He was living that life, and then, but myself, I don't do it continuously. He was doing continuously, 29 years, because my life is more, the destiny is deep. Something now I had to share with the people, and then the Himalayas. When I return, I would stay in a little. I would recover. I would not I do look after myself. I should take certain medicine and sort of recover. I do that because I use this vehicle. Not I know the importance of this body, and so yeah, what I ate was, there's one forest, of course. There's one person always, someone in deep Venerable there who happened to cook the food. So he had to be very careful to preserve all these things. He has to find a cool place in the caves where like no refrigerator. So so someone had to bring, and but I always notice it's based on our past karma. I was surprised how I'm getting food, tell you honestly. There are places I can't imagine I would ever get food, but I did get. But they're long stories if I tell. And little bit, this is like a mystical part. I would say also some devatas, they also help if you're really striving. If you're really striving, there are people who see you, what you're doing, and they will be following you to get merits. And if you have some karma, you could see it is definitely the operation that they bought these foods, how this person found you inside the jungle. So can't imagine such a coincidence. So I see that who are following, my teacher used to tell also, who are following this path, they get some support. Mara is also there to attack, but then they also have support on the other side. That's why you have that with confidence, to let go more. You are not going to wait for devatas or anything. As a monk, you rely on practicing the sati, patan, and the mindfulness and letting go. But as a result of that, the whole universe starts to help you in one way. Because there are two forces rallying. One is the Mara, more rallying, and then the other force is also there for your help. What is that? Yes?
One day you mentioned that if you go to the deep forest,
yeah,
you don't care there's a food or not because you pass karma. Somehow the food's there waiting. Someone will bring food to you.
Yes.
But if that's the case, would you actually, really go into deep forest? There's no people there,
yeah,
but you can still dare to go in because you believe you're going to get food anyway from people or from Dewa, whatever. That doesn't stop you?
I should get a convincing inner calling for that. I'm not going to just demonstrate, I'm going to get food and just live there. It should give me a feeling, maybe I'll achieve my inner realization, inner goal. If I have that idea, now I see coming, this is the help. So it's different for different times to different people. Now doing this is quite opposite, right? With all people, buildings. But I see, because the thought I couldn't share enough with the people. That's a duty I didn't do. So for each person at different times could be a different thing to reach. You must have why you are doing all these things. You should have a goal. So that goal, whether these are contributing to that goal. So surely, then if I get to know that, actually I have this idea, in Badrinath, one cave I was staying in the Himalayas. After this, I'm thinking we are still fit and strong. I would like to pursue there. And but I'm not. I will make sure there's some food also. I'm not going to go completely, tell you honestly, because I don't think just going to some jungle deeply, there's some special effect. I have been like that, but I don't believe in that completely. You understand? Like some do believe like you go and stay in that area, energy area, something, like, and some do. And I have also tried, now I have to go Pindapata, Amsham, but I'm training in one practice where I don't take food for some time. Yeah, I don't feel weak also, and there's a way, and thanks to my parents, I think this body can go on like that. So, but I like to do it right now, but now every morning I go arms down because for the people, to give them the opportunity to that blessing and all that. But I really like without, like the tongue entirely not tasting any type of, it will help, I think. But that is not the end. There's something more that if they understand wisdom, that would come, that will remove all the passions in the system, illusions in the system and passions there. Anyhow, my answers are long, right? Anyone else? Yes? I told about the solution is removing desires. Okay. Say what the type of food you like to eat, especially. Ketchup? So you can experiment, you know. But the other, like what you really desires, what activate. If you remove that, you'll find it will help so much. You'll find normally you'll be less irritated than this thing. But it should be done with it should be done with tasting something like meditation. You should try and you get good experience. Because if you give up and you don't get anything, you get more angry. Because like if you desire something you don't get, you get angry. So now you see the danger of desiring and then you remove that and get the joy of letting go. That joy will create that opposite hormones in your body, cooling one. That will, you know, because the suffering, that getting angry is because you're suffering. So that is one technique. And the other thing I can understand, you get angry with close people. Because closeness, it makes them, you expect something from them. Right? Some people say they are great meditators, everything. They say, everybody also admire, but they tell me honestly, Bante, but I get angry with my children. Because that is attachment, you see, where there's attachment. So there you have to see where your weakness, why the cause of anger is this, where you attach. And attachment is because you're seeing it in illusion. For example, you know, like you touch the food. When the food is touching your tongue, you get tongue consciousness. In the tongue, the consciousness only, it says, this is chocolate, this is ice cream or whatever. That's perception. The factors of consciousness. When that touch is no more, where is that consciousness? It is no more. Okay, then you have to put another mouth, something. So you can see the conditionality. While it's touching only, that consciousness takes place. And this is how illusion, it doesn't exist when it's not touching. You understand? Same way when you begin to see every experience of senses, only that moment is no more. Like a mirror, if something falls into the mirror, it's there, then it's not there. Have you ever thought like that? So same, your children, it's a piece of flesh. So the same body, somebody sees it like brother, okay, the elder brother. Another one sees child. Another one sees my nephew. It's perception. How can it change? If it is one, it should be one to everybody. You get it? So then you see the illusion of consciousness. This wisdom comes more into you. You will be, that desires will be reducing in you. Then you will attend to them. I had a great grandma. You know, when the son was dying there, she didn't go, no tear in her eyes. She was like, but then I understood, she used to tell my grandmother, this is daughter, she was young, that this is how you practice. There's a meditation called 9 days of disintegration. The body, when the body dies, how the worms come and, you know, that body, how it disintegrates, that meditation she was practicing. So definitely she saw her child and husband, all these things. So this olden time, they were practicing these things. So if you're always watching TV and, you know, maybe going for the social, just like, just entertainment, surely you will see things you're putting illusion after illusion into your system. And you're only seeing in it, so you suffer. You'll feel sad, you'll feel upset, you'll feel excited by the worldly situations. But you have the other way, removing the illusions, you'll enjoy peace, wisdom, and you're evolving your consciousness to an enlightened state. And you'll be doing better. You'll set an example to others, coolness, firmness, and emotionally, you'll not be disturbed. See? Any other question? Yeah, sorry. Okay. To remove desire. Yeah. Remove the desiring intent, like desires actually. Because when you desire something, you lose energy. That's what I was explaining. Like loss of energy, lack of energy makes you angry. Because you can't stand, you get angry. You understand? So that happens because you are losing energy from some sense, draining. Sensual thing. Only desires are strongly created by senses normally. So whatever that drains your energy like that, now you can see some who are addicted and all that, they have panics and they just can't stay one place. So now we are at a different level also, we have addictions and then we are draining energy and we get angry. So the solution for anger is removing the desires. That's just an example I was telling, if you are addicted to ketchup. Okay? So because in India, very interesting. In India, if you take non-veg, it's like you commit murder. In India, it's like non-veg is so sinful, called the Hindu way of practicing. So in India, I tell them, they are like ketchup, you have chutney. You know chutney? Indian dish, it's a bit like a pickle or something like that. So I tell that chutney is more damaging than non-veg. To give the point that tasting, desiring is more damaging than those rules and regulations. But if you have a special desire or really inclined to take non-veg, then you have those negative spirits in you. So better you be vegetarian. You get it? Otherwise, Buddha stresses not on that. He stresses of the enjoying of any food, of tanha, for anything.
One thing you said, okay, if let's say I'm driving and then all of a sudden I'm thinking about yogurt, I really want to have that yogurt, but if I train my mind not to have that yogurt, not to have that desire, that will help purify the anger, right? Will eradicate the anger, right?
Yes, not by desire. It's easy to say, I want to remove the desire for yogurt. So, but you have to see desire, you become desireless by, actually the other way to remove desire is to see the fantasy about it. Because we have something, we like something because we don't know the true nature of it. When we get to know the true nature, desirelessness will be natural. Like you're holding a string, you look properly, suddenly it's a snake. Is there a question of letting go? There's no question. When suddenly you realize, oh, snake, you let go. Same way, you have to see the snake part of yogurt. So say, for example, you're not hungry. You're not, no need, you're not having, it's just for desiring yogurt you want. There's no purpose of it. And if you take like that, and even if you think like that, it is draining, dopamine is released. You're creating, you can find, thought even creates that. And even if you take it for a short time and it will upset my whole day meditation. Like that, you have to analyze. And then you can also think when it goes into your mouth is muck. Okay? So this is like vomit. And what really happens in your mouth. So like that. But when you're doing that, quickly you should feel the coolness and going into a higher experience. If you're doing that and just in a vacuum, you will go for yogurt because you like to taste something. So when you let go of this, you will taste a higher feeling, a peace. So that should happen, the transformation. The samadhi will increase and all that. And the samadhi means you'll have nice tranquil feeling. So you're disturbing the tranquility by taking the yogurt. When you're taking the yogurt, I remember something. That's why, like as monks, we are supposed not to think of anything while going pindapata. Because it is known that like we have to wish it will happen sometime because of some intensity of the mind. So we normally wish for other people, of course. So one day, just to test that, I did think, passing through a place called Maharagama. So my teacher used to tell that, the devatas all watching always, so you must never think of anything only for others. You bless, you have metta. So one day I just suddenly thought yogurt. I was so surprised you were telling this. And so I was, arms round is like, with the bowl and like we go. And I was just suddenly thought yogurt and just went back to my meditation update, okay? Just vaguely. And suddenly same time, the van came and skidded, like someone got jumped out of the van, came running to me. and was, putting something to my bowl. So I opened and then he puts it. It was yogurt. It was the big one also. With the, the clay pot. Clay pot, take it, Then I thought, no, and then I thought, my God, I don't want yogurt, This is not, this simple thing I'm not wanting. I want really to go close to enlightenment. And I thought, really, I was thinking, what is this, Yes.
Since you mentioned that yogurt case, that I think there's one time one of the yogis we went to a meditation retreat. One of the yogis is kind of joking, telling us after you finish your meditations, don't think something. Because when you think something, the things might happen.
Okay.
For example, just like the way
Yeah,
that happened to you, because you did so much good deeds.
Yeah.
The good karma, coming, matching your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Is that maybe true? I mean, that maybe happened.
It happened to me. I'm not sort of making it up for something, right? And
So what I'm trying to say,
there's a nice law also in nature's law, like when you give up everything, like you begin to get everything, something like that.
So this is natural law that you're giving out.
Yeah.
Then the more coming back.
You get like you can. That's why when you become more desireless, if you desire something, it just happens. So normally, when you become very desireless, it also goes to the well-being of all people. You become that, and then it starts to happen to these people, whatever their deepest, sufferings, and begin to serve the people. So you had another question, something, right? You want to? Yeah, you were asking something. Finish or?
No, actually, I don't know, Bande, you heard about this book called Secret.
Secret?
Yeah, this book used to be a top seller a few years back.
Okay.
The author was kind of telling people that make your wishes, make your vows. They try to strong your desire. Yeah. Because things might happen. You have to think, keep thinking, wishing.
Okay.
The good thing will happen to you. Because a lot of people, they dare to wanting something, they dare to wishing something. They don't think they're the one that desire good things happen.
Yeah.
And the book is telling them, no. If you think, if you wishing, the good things might happen to you. But if you don't think, you don't wishing, never happen.
Okay.
So that's kind of the natural law also.
If it is with desires, there's no force in that thinking. So if you're pure, there's a force. My teacher used to know, in the beginning, I actually had some ideas of serving the people and all that. And with that experience, at the age of 18, and so when I met my teacher, he showed me the way that if you are to help people, you can also help with thoughts. There's more power in it. How to enhance your thoughts. So that's what led me from 18 to all these years of going to meditate, knowing that not that I want to become like, I want to do something positively to the people. And I knew that when I generate this purity and purity, that I would be able to manifest those things very easily in a short period of thing. Otherwise, just being active, making buildings and organizations, no. That you become a living stupa, like a walking, talking stupa. That we should be. And he also told me that don't establish anything in the sensual world like a monastery. He told me, my teacher, that means to establish something, a mystical force that lives after your body goes, also to be a strength for others too. So this is something. Yeah. Yes. No, you have questions, or you just want to talk with me? I don't know. Yes.
When you talk about desire, how to see your desire, how the desire for this energy. What about regrets and
Regrets,
yeah, regrets and
depression and things like that.
yeah. How does that do with you, and how do I
Remove them.
deal with those regrets instead of
I understand. The thing is, it's with memories and all that. It's because of wrong understanding who you are. Now, regret, okay, for example, you regret you got scolded, for example, just example, right? Somebody scolded you. So, thing is, we don't go into what it was, like if you go back, now some people also ask me, Bante, it's nice to know your past lives and so on and so on. It's more better to know who you are than these past lives. You're seeing past lives through ignorance still. You're seeing a self in something which is not yourself. You understand? And thinking this happened to you, you were this, you were that. If you were that, why did you become this? What happened to that? You can't be changing, no? From one cloth to the other or something. So when you understand who you are, you become timeless. This is all in the realm of measurement, and it was also a moment. This is not real now. Only now always is something real. But even now is not real, but at least relatively real is just now. This was a now that time also. So now when that happens, what is it? It is a body. Somebody scolded. Somebody means you heard a sound and you heard it from your ears. So these ears, and that was mind. In the mind it told me he scolded me in consciousness. So when you see in parts that it has the experience that time and it passed away, it's no more now. It just rose and passed. That was not me. It was never me. You understand? When you look into that, go into that, whatever troubles you, hurts you, and see whether it was really you. Because the idea of you comes associating some substance. It can't come associating emptiness, can it? The idea of self comes with some substance. I'm going to demonstrate that now. Because of your long way of observing the thing, it makes you feel it's you and the other person. And then you personalize it. Again, what happened to me? If you personalize it, you're destroyed. You have all this depression and all this. So you have to go back. If a good master or some therapist or whatever, he will go back and tells you to look at that, watch that, find out whether it's really you there. And the idea of you see really is not you there, you fall off, let it fall off. Now, I might also think, what happened to me, all these things, I am telling only to tell you an experience to give you strength. But if I look back and worry about it, I would not be able to come and give this talk. Think this happened to me, I was a loser or whatever like that, I would think. So this is all because of your ego, and that removing the ego and the self-identity and knowing and being an observer of the illusion or more of it. And that because this is not you really, the body you're carrying. I will show you that slowly. Now I'm going to do that. This meditation where you do, if you had any worries, problems, they just will vaporize. Because you lose the misconception of this meditation should do that. Trauma or whatever, these are all just results of wrong misunderstanding of who you are. You're seeing it's happened to you. You had the trauma and someone gave, and the real you have no trauma. It's the false you having trauma. You get it? Real me have more trauma. Trauma, yeah, right. Okay, I understand. Very good. The karma is creating the illusion. You see, when you see there's no real me, you have old karma, but you are observing the karma now. You're not in the drama now. You are the audience. You get it? Before you were inside the drama, now you become the audience. You're observing. You're not. It's not serious for you. It's not you. Understand? Today I'm getting some new ideas. Slowly. This questioning thing is good, otherwise other things also important. I think these are my stock now who are hearing me, that other talks of putting mud. This is all from 2012, but I see it's like a mission of mine. Because I see people, this is who are destined for great things, they are covered by this. The demon is catching them from sexual these things, addictions and computer, internet. They are, who are specially destined, they are the ones who are caught. So when that is removed, so the simple thing to know that you have been damaged, drained, and so I have to tell, it's boring for me, but I have seen its effect. Some people seated far away, like in Ven and all that. Some boys, some of them, they just hear that ghost, how they are connected with, when you get tempted. So suddenly in Melbourne City, this boy, he was tempted to go for some bad thing, maybe spa or somewhere. Suddenly he remembered, oh, Bhante told there's ghosts who are driving you to do this. And then he didn't take it seriously, and then he sort of kept away from that. So I was very happy, saving the person from sin. And he was planned to be a monk and all these things, but this is the very people. So I think my basic mission to explain these things, remove today. And so the cell phone, internet to put apps and all that, very good. I find many people. Because I have struggled hard to come to this. So there has to be some change happen in your system. If nothing, it's not possible. That is all my fake meditation then. In Sri Lanka, they say like there are a lot of monks preaching and teaching. One complained to me in the bus stand one time that nobody's changing in Sri Lanka. They're telling that people are not changing. They're hearing all this doctrine. Nobody's changing. I had no answer for him. He asked why. So later, when I went away, I got the answer. The people who are telling, they are not pure themselves. If they are pure, there will be that mystical force. There are monks like we had Somahandro and monks. There are people start to change. He was practicing. He was in the jungle one time, going through the sutras, meditating on that, walking. Then he was in society also. But he was, purifying himself for sure. So then it hasn't happened. People were drinking, they were stopping. Practically, people are changing. That shows you can see someone, if he's really doing, there will be some power going that will make the people change. Like if you want to change your husband, your wife, just change yourself. You change your children playing games. No need to teach them. You change. I know one boy, he's going for he was addicted to drugs, heroin. So the mother is my good friend actually for long years, and I know her. So she was so worried. She can't bring. He was going from gang to gang. Can't call, not coming home. So she observed 8 precepts and saw the Bodhi tree, and focused on that, and sort of she was helpless. So she continued like that 1 day, 2 days, the 7th day, the child is coming. Where's Mama? Where's Mama? There are many ways how it happens like that. And very famous one I tell, I think this audience, they don't know, maybe unless they have heard in that. About Swami Vivekananda? Have you heard of Swami Vivekananda? No? He was very famous in Chicago, in the Parliament of Religions in 1895. That time he gave the speech when his voice was like boom, like a gong, they say. Chinese gong. So there's a reason someone asked what was that power he had when he was interviewed later. There was like 7,000 audience. They just they felt so, they want to pay respect for him. For what? They say we want in the paper not advertisements, the reports in the Chicago Times and all this. Very interesting that he became very famous. He said for 12 years he practiced this, there's a practice in the yogic way where you keep away even thinking of the sexual thoughts. They control the thoughts for 12 years, and then there's like a layer in the brain, like a web, which is taken away. And then you have the super brain working. So he had photographic memory also. So he attributed this all to living a celibate life. And he said he also practiced this for 12 years, not thinking. Now when I heard this, it was too much for me. Not thinking is, I can't relate to my own practice. I feel very related to Mahatma Gandhi, where he struggled and practiced, very same to my life. So, but I can understand, very interesting, just imagine. So that he said that purity burst out in that speech. And so now he became famous. So one day, one mother brought a child. She asked, Swami, the child was fat, eating a lot of sugar and sweets. So told the Swami, Swami, can you give him a mantra that he will stop eating sugar? So the Swami has said, come after 10 days. So they went, and the mother and the child came after 10 days and said, Swami, we are here. Then he said, son, hereafter don't eat sugar. Then the mother said, Swami, what about the mantra? Then he said, well, this is the mantra I told him now. Then he said, you should have told that 10 days back. He said, 10 days ago, I was eating sugar myself. You understand? 10 days ago, he was eating sugar. So 10 days he kept away of eating sugar. And then he told. So there is that you practice, then, because he was also eating sugar that time. So what's the point telling someone not to eat sugar when you're doing it? So he kept away for 10 days, and then this is the way, there's some power in that. So these are special monks actually. Whoever they have done something that will have an impact. I know now some of the things what I did, it means repetition again and again, but no problem for me. I know they're true and that will something happen. I'm not coming to entertain also, because now YouTube is going and no problem. This is my life. I can't make up some discourses and come and tell. I have a mission. I know some souls are there. I hope I can help them to go on this path. That's it. They're destined people to meet. So last we are going So we are going to the last part. I will now show you. Do you have a scissor? Anyone?
Caesar.
Yeah. This Venerable Sir, we feel very heartly connection. We didn't meet very much, and I personally feel also, it's funny we meet now. සසරේ වැඩි හම්බුනේ නැති වුණාට මේ අර විශ්වාස පරමාඥාති කියන්නේ නේද? He's a very senior monk, very, very, I think in charge of an entire educational institute in Sri Lanka. And I was surprised he's here and doing his PhD, I think, something like that. Sorry? Yeah, right? I feel he's a special gem, Bhante.
Some of them are actually learning Pali.
Okay, Bhante, right. You're very fortunate. I wish I was here to learn Pali from Bhante. Now my time is up. Yes, it's okay. Yes.
It's for flower.
Okay. What do you think I was going to use for? You can sit here if you like. You can sit. It's okay. Comfortably sit, don't worry. Okay. You have a very good, what is this? You don't have a scissor?
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. I have 2-3 demonstrations I want to do, which I formed recently. But this one, I don't know whether you have time for these 2-3. Sorry? The end of it, yeah, end of it. End of it. I can always do that. What's it now? Have you got any very expensive cups here? I'm not a robber or somebody, don't worry. Like a good, very good quality cup. Yes. Or like for showcase, you might be having it. And a plastic cup,
very nice cup. Very nice.
No, I need a plastic one also. Someone said? Oh, plastic එකයි මේ අරකයි සාමාන්‍ය දෙකයි තුනක් වගේ. හැබැයි this is to a message to America. Not to America, to all. Or paper cup also, no problem. Yeah, this also. This also. Yeah, I want expensive one, medium expensive one, most cheapest one.
The medium one, that's the better one.
Okay.
And the plastic one.
Yes, thank you. So, do you have anything for me to drink? Nothing, is it? What is that in some water or something? Okay. What is nice? Something sweet you have? Like a little bit something sweet?
Okay, how about honey?
Juice, yeah, juice. Just little bit, okay? Because I want to teach you the sweetness of life. Okay. I like to teach this very much to a big Sri Lankan crowd, and yeah, on my way, because I went visited one house and this suddenly came to me, this I have to do just a little bit because we are short of time. Quickly do this. We take quickly. This is not for me. It's okay. You can give it to them later, maybe. So I'm going to drink, you know. Take it. It's all right. This go very nice for. Shall I take a little bit? Very nice. Tastes very good. And the most expensive cup. I hope I will not drop it, right? Maybe China, from China. Or, okay. Very tasty. Okay. So nothing for you, right? I'm enjoying myself. Let me try this. It's medium, huh? What will happen with this? I think this is one of my time where I'm tasting this for you all. Right? Really, it's so nice. Same nice. But little lighter.
That's not true.
Yeah, because the other one is more heavier than this. This is super light. I don't know. You must be wondering whether it's a cookery demonstration or something. Very nice. So, finish now. This is more light also. Light, but the taste is different, is it? From cup to cup?
No.
No different. So whether you have to pay a big loan and have all these like white elephants, you know, the houses, cars, you're having, you understand? You're not even using it sometimes, but the same thing is happening. So sometimes you can get more time, you reduce your time, like, you know, paying all these loans, going behind. Sometimes you're not using that house completely. I don't know why I'm telling this. Maybe someone is having like that, I don't know. Or vehicle or whatever, all these things with long term paying loans and everything. You have the same thing happening. And if you know this and you can live a life which is more, that will create more time. Sometimes some people have a lot of things, suddenly they have to make simple, they have to do a lot of things. So I'm just telling, but generally, I notice one of this couple, they built this house on their own. I have to go there, just the time was closed for taking my food. So when I went, they gave their room and so on. And I was wondering, they're hardly using this. They want to be monk and a nun, and they're going to sell this now. And but all the time they were making this house and working to pay, they would have become even enlightened. And I know one lady, in DC, Washington DC, she has given up all this. She's living in an attic, basement, and doing all these things, just and doing a job with just to sustain herself, and going for this practice. So this is some point. Now we go for the barber shop. This is something important I have to do, because normally we have a practice, in the Dhamma. Those days when people they cut their hair, they became enlightened while cutting hair. So this is how I hope I'm trying to give you an idea. Like you will go, if you are ever going to go through the ancient texts, how to relate it to present moment and activate that we call Yoniso Manasikara, and how to do it, but just to get it in a graphic way. But I need hair donation from someone. Someone can give hair? How is it? I would have cut your hair if I was, if there's one there. Okay. You have to tell just what you feel, right? I have to find a place where your style is not disturbed, okay? And only the crows will see. When I do like this, how do you feel? Is your hair?
Yes.
It's not a wig, eh? It's not a wig?
No, it's not.
It's your hair, is it?
Yes.
You feel it's you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how much you feel is you?
This?
Yeah.
This is me.
Okay, no, this is not you.
No.
You can take a seat. Good. Just imagine how fast it became not him. So fast. All the time it was not him actually. Just him, because it's in this space. The sense of I comes. Understand? So this scissors should be that when you have tranquility, you will be separating it. So that separating ability is the reality. You see, evam passan yata bhutan, as it is, as how it is going on. That needs a silencing mind, and the silently watching, you'll be noticing. If you're properly noticing, like she says about the 5 elements also, 4 elements, the hardness here, when the Buddha explained. Now, because those days no electrons, it was based on the nature wise. So hard nature. So the purpose of it is to get that this nature is same. Like urine is in the bladder, when it goes to the water, what is it? So all that, because it's in the space and that shape, that's the illusionary sense of I comes because in that vicinity. And it comes also with feeling. Now say you're seated for a long time and your legs become numb, and suddenly you get the same feeling that if you don't see from your eyes also, you will also doubt whether, do I have my leg there? But when the feeling comes, the sense of I comes with that, with avidya. Wrong attention, wrong ignorance, touched with the feeling, the sense of I comes. You understand? So this is something. Now when they have told, now actually I normally demonstrate, when you read the sutta, today I actually left the book in, I have like Word of the Buddha. It's very nice by Gnanaloka Mahatera. That's your handy book. Now I want to tell also this. Now the thing is this, like for this practice, we also need a GPS. You understand? So, because it's a journey from ignorance to wisdom, enlightenment. So in this journey, we need a guide. So you have to, but the guide must be someone who already gone the journey, right? Maybe someone like me. That's why you can listen to my YouTube discourse as much as possible. Do you agree with that? How do you know I have gone to the journey? Maybe some shine. Maybe I have put Nivea before coming. How do you know? You don't know. This is another point where we begin to believe everybody who is speaking and teaching the Dhamma. It's okay, we must listen. But we are very sure the original words of the Master is the teaching. You understand? That we have no doubt. We have no means who knows Pali also. So I was saying, the Pali Bhasha, who knows how it originated. That's the original text of, I don't want, that's why I ask scholars. But as a meditator, the experiences you go through from that confirms that this is not someone writing or fabricating. He's alive. The Master is alive there. So, but the problem is the instructions are so simple. They're not complicated. Now, sometimes people might go to Abhidharma and all that because people want complicated things. This is the today, they're intellectualizing too much there, and that becomes polluted, intellectually polluted. And the simple fact which makes you a saint, which gives you the deep vision of intuitive vision. So this is where you have to allow those words to bake in your head. There you learn tranquility to cultivate that, then there are chances that suddenly, oh, this is it. Like that, the spark understanding comes. So the sutta, when you read, there are like 5 elements, for example, when the Buddha says that exact exercise, if you do, and wait until you get the effect, that like there's no person, you begin to feel for yourself. You feel the no self. Like you're becoming more, that is the right awareness more. So when you sustain that, you might get more deeper clarity of this. So you're on the path. So next time if someone is scolding you, now I know I have no time to go through an entire sutta, but I just give you a glimpse of it, some idea. If you're reading, how to apply to yourself. And you must get that, and just not to complicate it too much. The universal, you could say the lakshana, or the universal signs of existence, of change, suffering, and no self. This should become, that's what he's trying to make you be aware. I can't use the word see also, make you understand, but it is actually to know from inner mind, the wisdom mind. So that is definitely not the reptilian brain. So all the things where we say precepts are broken, all that, it's the reptilian brain. So that this brain has a chance to work. And when you perceive this more and more, the test is you will let go automatically. Letting go will make you automatically tranquil. Tranquility will be will be part of you because of your baggage becoming less and less. Mentally, it doesn't mean you're putting on robes or something. No, you are, mentally you are touching that plane of liberation. It's internal one. So normally we say Arya Jnana, which leads to when you're trying this called Gotrabu and all that, our teachers to tell those just like you're knocking at the door. You're in that vicinity when you're trying this practice. There's a chances of that getting that deeper inside. So now the practical thing, if someone is shouting at you, you can. Some ladies, they say the husband was shouting in the kitchen, while it was told when something. Then they're practicing this, how the elements is like vibration and so on. So then they didn't shout back. So wonderful. I think that's the best. It should happen practical. You should be able to sort of the experience. You should be able to see through that, and then you will not react. So when you're able to do once, you have another way out of this life. So you know how to not to react, to apply this Maintain that vision. Is it clear? I don't know. Is it clear? So the watery nature, it says, like you can say tap water and the blood in the thing. You must get a sense of it. The Mahastipada Upanishad is very nice. There are analyzations in the Majjhima Nikaya. But I would suggest the parts of it are taken like in structure book, Word of the Buddha by Gnanaloka. You got that book? Have you ever gone through? It's a small book. So under the Four Noble Truths, all these can be just one verse that will trigger this insight. So you have to go through it, little bit meditate, metta, or little bit breath meditation, tranquil, then a little bit read. Like that, mix. Looking at your GPS. You know what means GPS, no? You know? It's called Guru Position System. Yeah, it is. It's a Guru Position System. You need one, right? So especially today, but not to load with all this. Just take it for your journey. That's it, journey. That's it. So now I told you some idea. You see, like if you happen to go through the scriptures, how to apply it, and to get this. So you don't need to read all of it. Just few things which are striking. If you focus on that, and that will be your life jacket, especially in crisis or anything. If you look like that, suddenly all that will just fall off. It's a feeling. What you call crisis is a feeling. When you go beyond feelings, what is it? You can master any situation. You're not affected by anything. You can do it now, not tomorrow or this thing. You can try it out. You have some problem, apply it now and see what happens. You see, suddenly it's a shift from, it's a mental state. Otherwise, this body is just simply fresh. Without consciousness, there's nothing. So now we do a last meditation. I think I covered most of it, and my last blessings. Okay, these are my main blessings. I do give do you know that I give us some other type of blessings in the end? You know, huh? No, okay, okay. I think these are all different parts I have been living in previous lives, I guess. Some with the arahants or the monks, then some with yogis, rishis. But I mix. I hope all of this will help. I can do something. So this meditation, just if you're going to meditate, before you, now if you are doing all that, driving your car, doing that, you're already warmed up. You're constantly, so, but in case you want to, you want to sit down or this thing, you must sit in a comfortable posture where you don't fall asleep. Even if it's lying down is comfortable, okay. It doesn't make you fall asleep. And you must learn to relax. Okay. So I don't know how fast we can. There are small tips of letting go the stress and tension from the body. But to demonstrate that, time will go, but maybe we do a quick one like this. You can take your hands like this. Go like this. If you feel sleepy, all that will go, right? Okay, you don't look dignified, I know. Don't worry about that. You don't have any self, so no problem, okay? Can you feel really now little relaxed, do you? It has to be a vigorous one, And relax again. Nicely sit down in a comfortable way. Don't go into any meditation as such. And pay attention to the sounds you're hearing. Can you hear some generator or something? The background, the vehicle. Just pay attention to the sounds. Think you're seated in front of a beach or somewhere, or in the park, in a bench. Nicely, comfortably relax. When you're really paying attention to the sounds, and meanwhile relaxing, not trying to do anything, you will notice something very close to you if you're properly done. You'll be more sensitive to what is going on in your body. You will notice how you're inhaling and exhaling. First, you must learn to not to keep the body stiff and keep it relaxed. You can hear the car. If you're really silent, you'll hear the tick tick of the clock. And with that relaxing, you will notice inhalation and exhalation. How you're drawing in the breath, drawing out the breath. When you're doing that, you come to a present moment to some extent. It's a good sign. You're not unnaturally trying to notice the breath. It's just when you sort of relax and pay attention to the sounds and just being like awake in the moment and relaxing, you notice you draw in breath and draw out. And then picture yourself seated in whatever posture, like from outside. How you are like looking from yourself from out. In my case, dressed with a robe. In your case, maybe jacket, t-shirt. And reflect your GPS if you're reading one day the original master's words. One place he said, Rupam Bhikkhave Anatta, body is not yours. Rupam Chahidam Bhikkhave Atta, why is it not yours? Abhadaya is subject to affliction. So whatever you can picture, understand what means by affliction, we know very clearly aging process, old age, or sickness, or death, which we can easily perceive or know. We know that this is, we don't want, but it happens. So you can just see, we don't want to get looking old, but it happens. We do not like being sick, but it happens. Samvatteya labbetaja rupe evam me rupam hotu evam me rupam mahosi. If I order the body, don't get old, don't change, be this, be not like that, it doesn't follow your orders. You have to silence, relax and watch this. That this is the reality of our body. With the body only we get consciousness. If the body is not yours, how come consciousness be you? And with that you have the thought of letting go, releasing the hold of your life, so-called life, to a body and consciousness. In consciousness only you have, this is my son, this is my husband, this is my child. And when you think, you let go this consciousness which is not yours or the body. You touch that peaceful place in the mind. May this experience deepen in my life, free from greed, hate and delusion. This same experience may it come to all these people seated here. May also they deeply experience it. Not only the people here, like you're going in a helicopter, or the neighbors around in their homes, may they also experience this. Like one family, slowly, Pasadena, all this area, California, like you're going in a helicopter, and entire North America, New Jersey, Texas, everywhere, Canada, North America, South America, like you're seeing the whole planet, all these like ants, human beings, Central America. May they get this peace of mind, knowledge. Not only them, England, Europe, Africa, Mediterranean, China, Sri Lanka, India, like ants, so many thousands, lakhs of people. Nepal, Tibet, Australia, Taiwan, Japan, the entire human beings in the planet. Like you're looking from space, all those beings get this wisdom of the masters and come to this inner peace. Not only human beings, all the animals, unseen spirits, the lower worlds, Vetarani, Paduma, Avicchya, to the lowest worlds, may they get the human plane and follow this way to liberation. And the angelic words, Tavtim Satusita Yama, Nimmatarati, they have less greed, hate and illusion. But when it completely finish to liberation, how liberated they will be. There are so many angels in that plane. And the higher worlds, Brahmalokas, who have done a lot of meditation in the human plane, who reach those existence. Most of those places have no greed, no hate, but there is sense of I, the delusion, like the Arahants, when it completely vanquish. May that happen to those realms too, from the highest to the lowest, in between, all sentient beings, like you're looking from space. May they come to this inner peace and happiness. So you can continue this at home or in the future. I give you my last blessings. It's a very good meditation
First we did a little bit of contemplation, then changing it to concentration meditation through compassion. This creates a lot of energy and way to liberation, samadhi also. And then if you go through the anatta nature, that's why this contemplating body, feeling, perceptions, skandhas, this easy to do, but you must hold on to that more tranquility silently, not rushing into kind of a vision or experience. So I don't think we have more time. All of you